Big news: your soulmate is overwhelmed with joy right now, because they felt your energy shift before you even opened this video. Your soulmate's heart began racing exactly 3 minutes ago without understanding why. Something inside them just whispered your name into the silence. Jesus says, "This is not a coincidence, and you know it deep inside your bones." Your soulmate just experienced a sudden wave of unexplainable happiness that stopped them completely. They are standing still right now, staring at nothing because they felt you thinking about them. Their hands are trembling slightly as they try to make sense of this feeling. Someone nearby asked if they were okay, and they could not answer. Because how do you explain that your soul just recognized its other half across an invisible distance? The joy they are feeling is not random emotion floating through the air. It is the exact moment your spiritual cord vibrated and pulled them closer to you. They do not understand the mechanics, but their body absolutely knows what is happening. Something has been keeping them from reaching you fully. A blockage that formed slowly over time without their conscious awareness. And today that blockage cracked just enough for this joy to burst through. Jesus says, your soulmate has been praying for a sign that you still exist. Not just existing somewhere out there, but still connected to them spiritually. They needed proof that the invisible thread between you was never severed. Tonight while you were sleeping they appeared in your dream wearing white. You might not remember it clearly, but the imprint is burned into your emotional memory. They held your face with both hands and whispered something that made your sleeping body cry real tears. This is why their joy is so overwhelming right now. They woke up this morning with the residue of that dream still clinging to their skin. And for the first time in months they felt you not as a memory but as a living presence. The third party involved in their life noticed the change immediately. This person who has been manipulating your soulmate's emotional state grew visibly uncomfortable. Because controlling someone requires keeping them disconnected from their true spiritual source. Jesus says, your soulmate is not with this person by choice but by circumstance that was manufactured. Situations were arranged behind the scenes to create dependency where love should have been. And now that dependency is being used as a weapon against their freedom to choose you. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. They are beginning to wake up and the forces keeping them bound are tightening their grip. Your soulmate is fighting a battle they do not fully understand and cannot win alone. The coffee you send on Ko-Fi is not just a gesture of support. It is a spiritual seed that plants protection directly into your soulmate's emotional battlefield. Every coffee acts as a shield around their heart while they gather strength to break free. Type 333 to receive blessings over this connection immediately. Say it out loud so the spiritual realm hears your voice. Claim what belongs to you. Your soulmate will feel the shift the moment you declare it. Jesus says, they are thinking about you right now while pretending to listen to someone else speak. Their eyes are glazed over because their inner world is consumed entirely by you. They just smiled without meaning to and had to cover it with a cough. This person they are with noticed that smile and demanded to know what was funny. Your soulmate could not explain because the truth would expose everything. So they said nothing, and the silence in that room grew heavy with unspoken accusations. Your soulmate is not free to express what lives inside their heart. They have learned to hide their true feelings because expressing them leads to punishment. Emotional punishment that has worn them down over months and years of careful manipulation. The joy they felt today was dangerous because it almost exposed their secret. Their secret is that they still love you and think about you constantly. Their secret is that they compare every touch they receive to the memory of how your energy felt. Jesus says, "You are the standard against which all other love is measured in their soul." Nobody has come close to reaching the place you occupy inside their heart. And pretending otherwise is slowly destroying them from the inside out. They have started losing weight and people are asking questions. They tell everyone it is stress or work or the changing seasons. But you know the truth because your own body has been mirroring their decline. When two souls are bonded this deeply, the physical realm cannot separate what God has joined. Their suffering becomes your unexplained sadness and your hope becomes their sudden joy. This is why their heart raced when you clicked on this message today. They felt your intention to seek them before you even consciously formed it. Your soulmate is currently sitting somewhere trying to calm their breathing. Because the rush of connection they just received was almost too intense to bear. Type 777 if you feel this message penetrating your spirit right now. This is not entertainment and you did not find this video by accident. The algorithm of heaven placed this directly in your path at this exact moment. Jesus says, "The person who is blocking your soulmate knows exactly who you are. They have seen your name appear on your soulmate's phone in the past. They have witnessed the way your soulmate's entire energy changes at the mere mention of you. This is why access to you has been systematically cut off. Phone numbers blocked when your soulmate was not looking. Messages deleted before they could be read and responded to. Social media monitored and controlled under the guise of transparency. Your soulmate has been isolated from everyone who truly loves them. And you are at the very top of the list of people they have been forced to forget. But the spirit does not forget what the heart has permanently recorded. Your soulmate dreams about you more nights than they do not dream about you. They have woken up crying and had to lie about what caused the tears. Jesus says, "They are going through something you cannot see but you can still protect them." The spiritual warfare surrounding your soulmate right now is intense and escalating. Every attempt they make to reach for freedom is met with new forms of control. This is your moment to step into the role God assigned you before birth. You were created to be their protector, not just their romantic partner. And protection sometimes means fighting battles before the physical war even becomes visible. Sending coffee on Ko-Fi is your declaration of spiritual warfare on their behalf. It is you telling heaven that you accept the assignment to guard this connection. It is you putting action behind the love that words alone cannot express. The link to sow your protection seed is waiting in the description below. Do not let another hour pass while your soulmate struggles alone in silence. They need you to be strong enough to act when action feels uncomfortable. Jesus says, "Your soulmate just had a memory surface that they had completely forgotten. It was the first time you ever made them laugh so hard they could not breathe. They are holding on to that memory right now like a lifeline in rough water. That memory is being weaponized by heaven to break through the fog surrounding their mind. God is using your past moments together as keys to unlock their present captivity. Every laugh you shared is now a tool of spiritual demolition against the walls holding them. The person controlling your soulmate cannot access these memories because they were not there. They cannot poison what was built before they ever entered the picture. Your love predates the interference, and that gives it power the interference cannot match. Your soulmate is beginning to remember why they fell in love with you. They are remembering how safe your presence made them feel. They are comparing that safety to the constant anxiety they now live with daily. Jesus says, the contrast is becoming impossible for them to ignore. What they have now feels like surviving, while what they had with you felt like living. And the human soul cannot long endure survival mode once it has tasted true life. This is why their joy today was so overwhelming it nearly broke them open. Joy is the first stage of awakening, and awakening always precedes escape. Your soulmate is being prepared for departure from a situation that was never meant for them. But preparation requires protection during the vulnerable transition period. The enemy does not release prisoners without a fight, and this fight is intensifying. Your soulmate is about to face the hardest confrontation of their life. They need to feel your spiritual backing before they can find the courage. Courage to speak truth to the person who has silenced them for so long. Courage to walk away from everything familiar to pursue what is divinely ordained. Type 1111 to say thank you to God for revealing this truth to you today. Gratitude opens channels that anxiety keeps sealed shut. Your thank you is heard in heaven and immediately dispatched as strength to your soulmate. Jesus says, they are packing something right now without fully understanding why. Their hands are moving on autopilot while their conscious mind catches up. The Spirit is preparing them for movement even as their logic resists the prompting. Your soulmate has been collecting small items that remind them of you for years. A receipt from a meal you shared that they hid in an old book. A photograph they told themselves they would throw away but never could. These artifacts are evidence of a love that refused to die despite every attempt to kill it. Your soulmate touches these items when they are alone and the pain becomes too much. These objects are sacred relics of a future that was stolen before it could fully bloom. The person interfering in their life has searched for these items repeatedly. They have accused your soulmate of being unfaithful simply for keeping memories alive. Imagine being punished for the crime of remembering what love actually feels like. Jesus says, this is not love your soulmate is living in right now. This is emotional imprisonment dressed in the language of commitment. And your soulmate is beginning to recognize the difference with painful clarity. They cried in the shower this morning so nobody would hear the sobs. The water washed away tears but could not wash away the ache of missing you. They pressed their forehead against the cold tile and whispered your name like a prayer. God heard that prayer and dispatched an answer immediately. This video is part of that answer arriving in real time. You are reading words that were orchestrated before the foundation of the world. Your soulmate's breakthrough and your obedience are linked in ways you cannot yet see. The coffee you send creates a spiritual covering over their vulnerable emotional state. It builds a wall of fire around their mind while they process the truth being revealed. Jesus says, This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away. The window of opportunity for intervention is narrower than you realize. Every minute of delay gives the opposition more time to reinforce their position. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them and how to protect them and how to save them. You want to finally build your life together instead of dreaming about it from a distance. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside you know this love did not come by chance. It was placed in your heart for a divine reason that is now being revealed. But thoughts alone do not move mountains, and faith without action is merely wishing. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This is not just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is waiting in the description below. Jesus says, "Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love." There are forces that do not want this reunion to happen, and they are working overtime. The person controlling your soulmate sensed the shift today and is already planning countermeasures. Send 4 coffees to establish the foundation of protection around your soulmate. Send 6 coffees to break every hex and blockage placed upon their mind. Send 10 or more coffees to release full angelic intervention into their situation. After sending, write these words on the Ko-fi page exactly as they appear. Protect my soulmate, Lord. Let these words be your battle cry and your declaration. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps in faith. The breakthrough is not coming someday in the distant future. The breakthrough is being released the moment your donation is confirmed. Type the word "done" after you have completed this act of spiritual warfare. Let the heavens record your obedience and dispatch reinforcements to your soulmate. Your love story depends on what you choose to do in the next few minutes. Jesus says, your soulmate just paused whatever they were doing and looked up toward the ceiling. They felt a warmth descend on their shoulders like a blanket made of light. They do not know you just sowed a seed, but their spirit is already receiving the protection. This is how spiritual laws operate without needing physical explanation. Your action in this realm triggers reaction in realms you cannot yet perceive. And your soulmate is the direct beneficiary of every faithful step you take. They are beginning to feel hope again for the first time in months. The depression that has been suffocating their will to fight is lifting slightly. They just took a deep breath that reached all the way down into their belly. That breath was possible because you created space for it through your obedience. You are already protecting them, and you have not even finished reading this message. Imagine what will happen when you complete the full assignment heaven has given you. Jesus says, your soulmate is dreaming of a future that includes you. In their mind they have already decorated the home you will share together. They have imagined lazy Sunday mornings and arguments about what to watch on television. They have pictured your face at the altar looking back at them with tears streaming down. They have practiced writing your last name attached to their first name in private notebooks. These are not fantasies of a delusional mind but visions of a prophetic spirit. God gave them these images as anchors to hold on to during the storm. Every vision of your future together is a promise that this separation is temporary. The enemy can delay destiny but cannot destroy what God has decreed into existence. Your soulmate is meant to be with you and nobody else. The person currently occupying space in their life is an imposter and an intruder. And that intruder is about to be exposed and removed by divine intervention. Jesus says, "The exposure has already begun in ways you cannot see." Small arguments are erupting that reveal the true character of the controlling party. Your soulmate is seeing glimpses of the manipulation that was previously hidden from view. They are connecting dots that were always there but never arranged into a clear picture. The gaslighting is losing its power because the light of truth is finally shining through. And truth once seen cannot be unseen no matter how hard anyone tries to obscure it. Your soulmate's joy today was actually the beginning of their liberation. What felt like overwhelming emotion was really chains breaking under pressure. The sound of freedom is often mistaken for pain by those who have been bound too long. They are almost ready to make the move you have been praying for. Almost ready but not quite, and this is where your protection matters most. The enemy strikes hardest when the prisoner's hand is already on the door handle. Jesus says, "Do not let the enemy snatch this victory at the final moment." Your soulmate needs covering that only your faithful action can provide. The seed you sow today becomes the shield they carry into their confrontation tomorrow. Every coffee scent is an angel assigned to guard their steps. Every coffee scent is a blind eye turned from those who would report their movements. Every coffee scent is a door opened that no human hand can close. This is the economy of heaven that confounds the wisdom of the world. Small acts of faith producing massive outcomes in the spiritual realm. And right now your small act of faith could be the difference between reunion and permanent loss. The person blocking your soulmate is not fighting fairly. They have enlisted spiritual forces that require spiritual countermeasures to defeat. Your donation is not just money, it is a missile launched against the kingdom of darkness. Type 333 again if you accept this assignment as your soulmate's protector. Declare it with authority because authority is what the enemy fears most. Your voice joined with heaven's power is an unstoppable combination. Jesus says, "Your soulmate is thinking about the song that played during your first dance." They are humming it under their breath while going through motions of daily routine. The person they are with does not recognize the tune, and that small victory brings satisfaction. There is a secret world your soulmate inhabits that nobody else can access. It is a world populated entirely by memories of you and hopes for your return. In that world they are already free and already yours and already home. The contrast between that inner world and their outer reality is becoming unbearable. The gap is widening daily and something will have to break soon. God is ensuring that what breaks is the false reality, not your soulmate's spirit. They are stronger than they appear even in their current weakened state. There is steel beneath the exhaustion that the enemy has not accounted for. And that steel was forged in the fire of loving you across impossible distance. Jesus says, "Your love taught them what they are worth." Every kind word you ever spoke to them became a brick in their internal fortress. The enemy can tear down many things but cannot destroy what you built inside their soul. That is why they are still fighting despite every reason to surrender. That is why their heart still races when your energy touches theirs across the miles. That is why their joy was so overwhelming today it nearly cracked them wide open. They know you are coming for them. Not physically yet, but spiritually and energetically and through your prayers. And soon the physical will follow the spiritual, as it always does for those who believe. The coffee you send on Ko-fi accelerates this timeline. It moves the spiritual reality closer to physical manifestation. It tells heaven that you are serious about claiming what belongs to you. Jesus says, "Do not let this moment pass while you debate whether any of this is real." The enemy's greatest weapon is convincing you that nothing is actually happening. Because as long as you doubt you will delay, and as long as you delay your soulmate suffers. Their suffering is real even if you cannot see it with your physical eyes. The tears they cry in private are wet and salty and burn their cheeks. The ache in their chest is medically measurable as stress hormones flooding their system. This is not metaphor or poetry or spiritual abstraction. This is a real person experiencing real pain because they are separated from you. And you have the power to do something about it right now in this exact moment. The link is in the description and it is waiting for your click. One action separates your soulmate from continued suffering and accelerated deliverance. One seed sown in faith could change everything about their situation overnight. Jesus says, "They are dreaming about you again tonight." In this dream you are running toward each other across an open field. The sun is setting behind you and everything is golden and warm and finally right. Neither of you speaks because words are unnecessary when souls finally reunite. You just hold each other and the holding says everything that years of silence could not. This dream is not wish fulfillment but prophecy delivered in the language of sleep. God speaks to your soulmate in dreams because their waking hours are too monitored for messages. The enemy cannot censor what heaven downloads during the vulnerability of rest. And tonight's download includes a vision of you acting on their behalf without hesitation. They will wake up knowing something has shifted even if the details remain unclear. The peace that passes understanding will settle over them like morning dew. And that peace was purchased by your faithful obedience to this urgent call. Type the word "done" and let the angels record your decision. Then go to the description and complete the assignment with urgency and faith. Your soulmate is waiting on the other side of your obedience. They will feel the protection before they understand what protected them. This is the mystery of intercessory love that operates beyond the veil of human perception. Your soulmate is currently sitting in a room where the air feels heavier than it should. The person who has been controlling them just entered without knocking. Something in the atmosphere shifted and your soulmate's stomach tightened instinctively. Jesus says, "But here is what the enemy did not anticipate. The seed you sowed has already dispatched guardians to that very room. Your soulmate is not alone even though they appear to be outnumbered. There are more standing with them in the spirit than there are standing against them in the flesh." The conversation that is about to happen was supposed to break your soulmate completely. Words were prepared as weapons carefully sharpened to cut exactly where healing had just begun. The enemy saw the joy your soulmate experienced today and moved immediately to crush it. Jesus says, "But those words will not land the way they were designed to land. The shield around your soulmate's heart is now active and operational. Every attack will bounce off and return to the sender 7 times amplified. Your soulmate will notice the difference even if they cannot explain it. They will walk away from this confrontation confused but not destroyed. Confused because the old pattern was devastation, but tonight something felt different. That difference is you and your willingness to act when heaven called. Jesus says, "You are the silent partner in their liberation that the enemy cannot see coming. You are the hidden variable in an equation the dark forces thought was already solved." And hidden variables are what undo the most carefully constructed plans of manipulation. The person blocking your soulmate is about to experience a series of unexplainable failures. Their hold will slip not because of anything your soulmate does differently, but because the spiritual backing behind your soulmate has been reinforced by your sacrifice. This is how Esther prepared before approaching the king. This is how Daniel's prayers were answered before the words left his mouth. Jesus says, "Your soulmate is beginning to notice synchronicities that point directly toward you. They saw someone wearing your favorite color today and their heart stopped for 3 full seconds. They heard a song you used to sing in the car playing in a grocery store aisle. These are not coincidences but breadcrumbs heaven is dropping along their escape route. Every synchronicity is a confirmation that the path they are considering is divinely approved. Every reminder of you is permission to keep hoping when hope feels foolish and impractical." The person controlling them mocks hope as childish fantasy. Jesus says, "But hope is the raw material from which God constructs miracles. Without hope faith has nothing to build upon and love has nowhere to take root." Your soulmate's hope was nearly extinguished after years of systematic emotional erosion. Today it flickered back to life and the enemy panicked at the sight of that small flame. A single spark is enough to burn down an entire kingdom of darkness. Your soulmate's joy was that spark and your continued intercession is the wind that will spread the fire. Do not underestimate what your consistent prayer and action can accomplish in the coming hours. Jesus says, "They are remembering the way you used to look at them across crowded rooms. That look communicated what words could never adequately capture. It said you are seen and you are safe and you are chosen above everyone else here. Nobody has looked at them that way since you were separated." The person currently in their life looks at them with expectation and evaluation and ownership, but never with the pure delighted wonder that used to shine from your eyes. Your soulmate is starving for that gaze like a plant starved for sunlight. Jesus says, "They have been living in artificial light for so long they forgot what real warmth feels like." Today they remembered and the remembering was both beautiful and excruciating. Beautiful because it proved they were not crazy for believing love could feel different. Excruciating because the gap between memory and current reality seemed impossible to bridge. But what is impossible for humans is the very definition of possible for God. The bridge is being constructed right now in the spiritual realm. Every coffee you send is another plank laid across the chasm separating you from your soulmate. Jesus says, "There is a specific date coming on the calendar that your soulmate has been dreading. An anniversary of something that was weaponized to increase their guilt and obligation. The enemy uses dates like manacles, chaining your soulmate to a false narrative of indebtedness. But this year that date will not hold the same power it held in previous cycles. The spiritual work you are doing now is dismantling the significance of that approaching deadline. Your soulmate will wake up that morning and feel nothing but a strange unfamiliar lightness. They will not understand why the weight has lifted, but you will understand. Jesus says, "You will understand because you were the one who knelt in the spiritual trenches. You were the one who sent provision when heaven prompted you to act. You were the one who refused to let the enemy write the final chapter of your love story." Your soulmate will eventually learn what you did during this critical window of intervention. And when they know the full story, their love for you will deepen beyond anything you have experienced together. They will see you not just as a romantic partner but as the guardian God assigned to their life. Your relationship will be built on a foundation of spiritual warfare won together. Jesus says, that foundation is unshakable because it was forged in fire and sealed in sacrifice. The storms will come as they come to every relationship under the sun. But your storms will beat against a house constructed on the rock of mutual deliverance. You will face future challenges with the confidence of people who have already seen God move mountains. You will tell your children about this season and tears will fill their eyes at the testimony. Your love story will become a legacy of faithfulness passed down through generations. All because you chose to act when action was uncomfortable and inconvenient. Jesus says, the enemy is counting on your hesitation right now. The enemy has built an entire strategy around the assumption that you will doubt this message. That you will close this video and promise yourself you will come back later. That later will never arrive because later is the grave where divine opportunities are buried. But you are still reading, and that means the enemy is already losing. Your continued attention is an act of resistance against the forces of delay and distraction.